Hi parents, my name is Coach Amber Rao-Barany. I am one of the owners and co-founders of Wreck-It Volleyball and Fistball Club. Today I'm going to be answering the question, should I sign up for Rotations Level 2 or High School Tournament Program? So the reason why we are specifically making this video is because of two reasons. So the first is because we have a lot of parents who are asking what level to sign their athletes up for based on their experience levels, and also if they're new customers, they may not know where to put the athletes. But another reason is because we have found that some parents are signing their athletes up for the high school tournament program before their athlete actually has a sound understanding of the rotations. And we believe that the reason for this is because parents see that their athlete is playing in high school and then they want to sign up for the high school tournament program. So we want to make this video to help you understand what program to sign your athlete up for. So the first level is the Rotations Level 2. This program is basically where we assign positions to all of the athletes, and we take the time to basically go over the rotations with them, and then at the end of the class they have a tournament that they play in against other teams that are also learning the rotations. So this class is mainly for athletes who are on an 8th grade, freshman, or even on the JV teams that may still not have a sound understanding of rotations, where if you're put on the court, the coaches have to literally walk them through where to go, what the terms are, and stuff like that. When we are teaching the rotations, we also want to give the athletes more than one position. So we do require a lot of our athletes to take the program at least twice, and I'll explain that in a little bit. The last thing is that they should have some rotations exposure. So again, if you are on an 8th grade, freshman, or a JV team, you have some exposure to the rotational movements and you understand that you're not just standing on the court and kind of rotating around anymore, but that may be the extent of what you're used to. Another thing is we also want the athletes to do at least 2 positions, and the reason is because there's something in the volleyball community called pigeonholing, which basically means, let's say that you have an 8th grader who is on the taller side because they grew a little bit earlier than everyone else. When you are signing them up for programs, sometimes the other programs may be tempted to put them into the middle because they're the tallest on the team, and generally speaking, the tallest player is on the middle, but they're not passing in the back row. And then let's say we fast forward a year from now, where everyone else catches up, they're 5'7", not the tallest on the team anymore, and they lose their spot as a middle because there's another couple of players who are taller than them. But because they played as a middle, they didn't get the passing exposure that they needed, and then when it comes to high school time, they're not going to be able to make the teams as well because they're so used to being a middle that they're not practicing any of the other elements. So we want to make sure that the athletes, before they go into their high school seasons, have a better chance of getting play time because they have more exposure to more positions. So that's really why we also are doing multiple positions if you take the program multiple times. So when we are talking about the high school tournament program, a big thing is that the athletes should have at least 1.5 years of training, and they also should have at least 1 to 2 school programs or club programs or something like that under their belt. So in the middle school, it's generally a couple of months, and for some schools they do have multiple seasons, and also in high school they'll have the 3-month period that they train in. So realistically, we do aim to have mainly high school players, but again, if we have athletes who have been with us, they do have the ability to move through our program a lot faster, and if they're athletic enough and say that they're 8th grade, they still are eligible to be in this program. They just need to have a recommendation. So if you sign up for the high school tournament program, you may see a couple of middle schoolers, but those middle schoolers are getting assigned by myself or one of the other owners, and we have watched them grow, and we see that they're capable of playing with high schoolers, and realistically we're training them to be varsity athletes for their high school teams when they get into their freshman and sophomore years. So to do that, they need to have the same training as everyone else, but if they're younger, it means that we want them to try to get on the JV or varsity team earlier than everyone else because we see that it's possible for them. The next thing is that in order to get into the high school tournament program, you have to have training in 2 positions. So it could be outside and a middle, it could be libero and setting, it could be a setter and outside. Whatever the case is, they need to have multiple positions. And one of the other reasons why this is important is because we don't do tryouts, so we are not selecting athletes based on the position that they know and they want to play. So if we have only 4 spots for outside hitters and we have 8 people who want to be outside hitters, now it makes it hard for the coaches because we don't have other positions to fill because everyone wants to be an outside, but also they're not going to get as much play time in the tournament, and that's a big thing for us. We want them to actually get play time. So the reason why we want them to have exposure in other positions is because we want them to feel comfortable enough trying a different position in the tournament. And we don't want to have it that they have no exposure. So then when we say, hey, I know that you want to be an outside, but we're going to make you a middle, we don't want to have it that we are basically slowing the entire program down to catch somebody up because they have no training as a middle. We want them to be comfortable enough with rotations where they can be put as a middle or put as a setter and it doesn't slow that level down. We have to remember that for some athletes, the high school tournament program is their shot of getting onto a club team or into college. And if you are not self-policing and you're not making sure that your athlete is in the right program, it makes it a lot harder for the older athletes who maybe are multi-sport athletes, or maybe financials make it hard for them to play club, or whatever the case is. We want to make sure that those athletes can basically provide good footage of themselves to potential coaches in the future so they have as many opportunities as any other club. So it's really important that you take the time to understand where you should put your athletes. So if they are not 100% confident with one position and kind of confident with another, we recommend doing our rotations program, and we'll teach them a new position. So then when they go into the high school tournaments program, then we'll do our best to put them in the position that they like to play. But because we know that they know another one, then we'll move them around. So I hope that this helps you out. If you have any questions and you're a returning customer, definitely use the phone numbers that we reach out to. So most of you guys will receive a message at the beginning of programs when you start with us. Those are text message numbers where you can interact with either myself, Nicole, or Cliff. If you're a new customer, you're more than welcome to call and email us, and then eventually once you start the program, then you'll get our phone numbers. So hope this helps, and definitely ask any questions if you need them. Bye!